So Matt, when we look at an event that traditionally has been held in person,
Right.
but has decided to go the virtual route,
Yeah.
what elements should be taken into consideration?
I think the first thing you need to take into consideration is that you can't deliver the exact same style of content virtually as you do in person. So you think about a traditional physical event, which usually takes into consideration networking and other things around some presentations, like a conference, if you will, or a day-long sales strategy summit or something like that. Is you've got a flow that breaks into a bunch of breaks and a bunch of other things that make sense. So when you go virtual, you have to start thinking, this person is not in a room with me and with other people. They're sitting at their computer or on their tablet or their handheld device. And so you want to ensure that your content is more tailored to how they consume on that device. So what I mean by this is that generally you got to shorten things up, right? We don't, unless we're binge watching Netflix on a weekend, we don't generally look at our computers and watch things for 4 or 5 hours at a time.
We've limited attention spans.
Exactly. And so you want to think about it the way that network thinks about it, where they've got 15-minute segments, 30-minute, 1 hour long shows and programs, so that the audience has natural breaks and can consume it the way that they're used to. The other thing you have to remember when doing this is you may have an agenda that is longer than an hour, because physical events may have been a whole day, and that's okay to have a longer agenda, but you're fighting against everything else that's going on that device. Their email, their social media accounts, news that's coming in. You're fighting to retain their attention. So you want to really focus on trying to make the experience as interactive as possible. Less about you talking at them and more about you having a conversation with them. And it's easier said than done, because on virtual tools, there's a ton of ways to interact. There's a ton of options that you can put in front of people. So like most things, when we're talking about content, we push people who are doing this to think about it like they're putting together like election coverage on CNN. You want to break it up into segments. You want to ensure that you're not asking people to sit too long on any one topic, and you want to give them multiple options for how they get information and how they interact with you. And at the Streaming Network, we have a gentleman by the name of Brian Squire, who basically, this is the life he lives and leads. He's always working in these physical events, moving into virtual. And so him or other members of the team would be great resources if you're planning this, to basically come in and say, this is what we used to do. What do you recommend we do now? Because the one thing that you can do is you can go out and you can research this as much as you want, but we have the benefit of making all the mistakes already. We've been doing this for 10 years, and we've tried things that have worked really well, and we've tried things that have kind of fallen flat on their face with customers. And so we can hear out what you're trying to accomplish and what you used to do, and probably apply a strategy that we've already employed somewhere else and has worked really well.